This week's episode of Still Crazy After All These Beers, sponsored by the Atlantic City Beer Fest. Find us on the web at www.celebrationofthesuds.com.
And this is Gary Monterosa. Welcome to this week's edition of Still Crazy After All These Beers. And for me, it's pretty cool talking to some guys who've just started a brewery. And in fact, it's called New Jersey Beer. They're the newest to the Garden State. We're going to get the lowdown as to what these guys are offering and sample a couple of their beers. And let's start right over here with...
Hi, my name is Matt Steinberg, and I'm the president of New Jersey Beer Company.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question that you've probably been asked several times before. What made you decide to start a brewery in these times? It's not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not, but it was the right time for me, and I felt that, if I was going to go for something like this, that this was really the time that was right for me. So, yeah, maybe the economy didn't quite cooperate with me, but, if we can make it now in a bad economy, then we should be golden when things are good.
Well, a lot of times to say when the economy goes bad, people tend to go to the alcohol and the cigarettes and the gambling. So maybe this is just the right time to go about it, right?
I'd be lying if I said that never occurred to me. But yeah, we figure, frankly, beer can be part of celebrations, or unfortunately, sometimes people drown their misery in it too. So, if they're going to drown it, they might as well drown it in a good local product.
And a good New Jersey beer.
Exactly.
There you go. All right. Brendan, how you doing?
Pretty good.
And you are the...
Brewer.
Now, tell us how, I assume you're a home brewer, right?
Yes, I grew up home brewing my whole life. My dad's a home brewer. I did it from when I could walk until now. Yeah.
Now, that may not be politically correct, but I'm going to tell you something. My daughter has been drinking good beer. I have to say good beer since she was about 3 years old. I'd give her about an inch of beer to try, and she's always liked it. She's had one, we're going to call it Acme beer. Okay, one of the mass market beers, one in her life at a college party, and I think she drank about 3 ounces and threw the rest away. So, you've been schooled on good beer is what it comes down to.
I had the same college experience. I could not stand the cheap beer consumption. Kids would just be like, "Why can't you drink this?" And I'd be like, "I just can't."
I hear you.
Yeah.
Now, and when you're putting together a brand new company, you obviously want to get some good products out initially. You want something that's going to kind of take hold and the people are going to get excited about. So how did you develop your first 2 recipes? And by the way, I'm holding beer number 1, which is?
1787 Single Abbey. It's a nice Belgian session beer, about 4.5%. And, good for summer, good for pairing with certain light food, chicken, fish. It's a hard thing for beer guys because, we want big, tasty beers, but not everybody always does. So we had to come up with some beers that we want to drink and that other people want to drink as well.
There you go.
So.
Now, did you guys know each other prior to getting involved with this? Let me start with you on that one.
Yeah, actually, all 3 of us have been friends for several years now. These 2 met before me probably, and I met Brendan before Maddie, and I met Matt through Brendan, and the 3 of us have been hanging out as a group for probably 3 years now, and Matt's been talking about doing this for a long time. This is one of his dreams, and he finally got everything together, got the loans, and made it happen, and asked us to be a part of it, and it's something that we've always dreamed about, and we're just excited and happy to be going forward with something like this.
From the time the idea, let's say, came to fruition, when you said, we're going to make this thing happen, how much time does it take to become a licensed brewer here in the Garden State?
It's taken us about 1.5 years to get everything done. Yeah. I would say, about right around in the beginning of 2009 was when the idea really started to get legs, and we started actually beginning to file the paperwork. There's an extraordinary amount of paperwork involved.
Absolutely.
But if you get it done and you fill it out in triplicate 6 times over the way they ask for it, then they don't give you too much hassle. But it did take a while, and there's just a lot of stuff that has to get processed. So and then a lot of paperwork and loans. As you mentioned, in this economy, it was maybe a little bit more difficult, so we had to go through a few extra steps to get where we were. But and then about last August we finally got moved into our space, started cleaning it out, getting it ready to turn into a brewery, and the equipment took a little extra time to come in. It was supposed to be in more like January or February, and then it turned into more like March, and and then it was just a matter of getting the stuff set up, getting our final inspections from the state, and away we go.
Where are you physically located? Tell us where the brewery is.
We're physically in North Bergen, New Jersey. We're right on Tonnelle Avenue, US 1 and 9. It's a great little location. It's just, it's a brewery location. It's not a downtown brew pub or anything like that, but it's a nice space. We have a good amount of space to do what we need to do, and we get all our equipment in there, and it's been real nice.
John, who's been handling your distribution for you?
We use Hunterdon Distributors. They're out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and they handle a lot of craft beer, none of the big major players, and like Bud, Miller, Coors, and they know what they're talking about. They know good beer, and they cover the entire state of New Jersey, and they've done a great job for us, and we really look forward to growing with them.
Is it difficult getting accounts? Is it difficult getting yourselves into, bars and restaurants and so on?
That's a battle. It is a battle, and for us, it's extremely intense right now because we don't have our cases yet. We just bottled our first few cases of stout, and the other ones will be following. But we've only been on draft, and you know how hard it is to get tap lines. But bars and restaurants, they love us. We're a local startup. We're New Jersey, and our beer is damn good. So it's really not as hard as we thought it was going to be.
I'm going to pass this on to you, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Mr. President, this is great. You get the service from the president. I'm going to move on to the second beer. And as the brewer, Brendan, I'm going to ask you about this one again.
This is our pale ale. It's brewed with mostly pale malt and maybe like 50 pounds of specialty malts mix. 2 different kinds of hops, and it's, as you were saying, the IBUs are around 40, 42. And
let's define what IBUs are for the people who may not know.
International Bittering Unit, which is basically used to measure the hoppiness of beer.
That's good. That's a great description.
And it comes in a little over 5%, so it's a little bit stronger than our Abbey, and we all like it a lot.
But the great thing is, we were talking about this earlier, if you're going out to a bar or restaurant, in these times, you can't really throw down 2 or 3 pints of 8, 9, 10% beer. So it's nice to have what we would almost call session beers. You're coming in at 5% or so. I don't feel bad about, having a couple of these in a restaurant,
No, I mean, and that was the idea. We wanted something, that you'd put a 6-pack of in your fridge and, and have a couple of bottles, after dinner or whatever when you're watching a baseball game or whatever it is. And then, there's plenty of room, and believe me, we got all sorts of big beers ready to go, waiting for the market. But, like I said, in order to come out, we wanted to appeal to as many beer drinkers as possible. So we were trying to build, the base of the tree, if you will. We have our lighter Belgian Golden Ale. We had, a step into the hoppier beers. And then, we produce a stout as well, too. But it's a sessionable, drinkable stout. And from there, we feel like we can just start going off, in tangents left and right, wherever we want from there, and keep bringing out some more beers. But at the same time, make sure that there's, good quality stuff that you can keep a 6-pack in your fridge. And
sounds like a smart business plan, to tell you the truth. And then you're going to integrate the seasonals coming in shortly as well, right?
You got to sell this stuff.
It's nice to make the beer, and it's nice to have something to drink, but you're in it to make a buck too. You got to make some money.
Well, I mean, we can't keep making beer if we don't make a little bit of money. It's unfortunately, we do, and it's it was never about. Of course, I want to have a successful career, and my employees, I'm sure, want to be able to get paid on a consistent basis too. But it's.
In other words, just the beer doesn't work, right? You got to have a.
No, unfortunately not. So it's really important now that we get a good support from the local community, and help us get out there, and we'll do right by our customers and make sure we keep putting out good beer for them.
You guys got a website?
We sure do. It's njbeerco.com, njbeerco.com.
Very good. We're going to look for it. I want all you guys out there to check out New Jersey beer. I like that name also because you represent the whole Garden State, huh? Can I send something to the governor or no?
Sure. Yeah. It looks like he'd drink it.
And on that note, we're going to see you next week on Still Crazy. Take care, everybody.